All right, now that we have a basic understanding of CSS, and we have understood two types of selectors. One is the element selector and the other one is the class selector. I'm sorry, in my previous video I called class selector as name selector, but it's actually class selector. So we learned about two types of selectors while creating CSS. So wherever we put the element name, that's called the element selector, and wherever we put dot and a name, and we use that in the class as we are using over here, it's called class selector. All right, so let's get going now. Now, what I will do is I will be copying and pasting lots of code from my existing app to move fast. So let's understand the layout again. So now what we are going to do is we are going to start creating this section, which is a header. If you see where it's a YouTube channel library, and then on the left side we have the account settings and the username, right? So this is the header section. So let's start with creating the header section in the layout. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I will be copying some code to move fast. So I'm going to my existing app, and then I'm going to copy paste the header portion. So let me copy paste, and let's copy paste one by one. So the first thing that we are going to create in the header is, so let's paste this over here and let's see what happens. Now if you see in this one, what we are doing is we are creating a div, and this div is using a class called header, which means we need to define a class header. We already have a class selector style by name header. Let's modify this. So I'm going to define header. Again, we have padding 15 by 5 that we already had, and then what I'm also going to add is, for the header class selector, I'm saying in that any element which is using the header class and has a div inside it, I want that to float to right and have a padding of 5px. So I think you can understand now, when I say float right, that means the div element is going to move towards the right, and that is mainly for this one. So if you see, the account settings and the username is on the right side, and that's why we are using the float property to float that div element towards the right. And then we have the header, again the class selector, and inside that what we are saying is, if a div has a anchor tag or a hyperlink, the color for that will be this one, yellowish color. And again, if you see, there's again a div which is floating towards the right, and it has the yellow color font, right? So let's see how it looks like. So now if you go to the layout.html, we already have the header markup pasted over here, and we also created some of the header styles. Now let's go to the web page and see how it looks like. So refresh. So now you can see we have the header, wherein the name of the library that we have put, YouTube channel library, is appearing over here. And then on the right side we also have the account settings and the username. Now, as I said, in the style we have defined that the div, this particular div, will be floating towards the right, and that's why you see it's on the right side. And also the color we have defined is yellow, and that's why you see yellow over here. So let's go to this markup. So we have a div element which has a class header, and then inside that we again have a div element, and there is no class applied here, right? So basically whatever we have defined for header is not going to be applied for this div. And then we have defined for anchor tag the color settings. And then what we have also defined is for this div within header, if there's a div, it is going to float towards the right, and that's why you have seen this one is going to be displayed on the screen on the right side. Now if you see here, we have another element span, and for that we have a class title. But if you go to the default, the CSS, we do not have any style defined for title. So let's do that. So again, I will go to my existing app and I'm going to copy the title style, and then I go back to my app, and here let's add the title style, right? So now if you see, for this span element, title class is applied. Now the title style is defining the font size to be 18px, and it's going to be a bold. So now let's go to the website and see. Now we can see the header element, the text font is changed to bold, and also the size has increased, and that's because we have defined the style and we have increased the size to 18px. Now let's go to the next item. Now we have another span over here, and this is not using any CSS class. It has the inline styling. So inline styling is on a margin left and 5px. Right, so this is the first element of the header that we have defined. Now what we are going to do is, the next one we are going to define, if you see, we have a toolbar here. This is a toolbar having some button. So the next element that we will add in the layout is this toolbar. So let's go back. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I will copy from my existing app. So for the toolbar, we have this element. So let me copy the toolbar, and I'm going to paste it over here. But then again, if you see, this div element for toolbar is using class toolbar, and then class toolbar left, and toolbar content, and toolbar right. That means we need to define these CSS here. So again, I have them, so I'm going to get it from my existing app. So let's get the toolbar styles. So these are the toolbar styles. So let's copy paste everything that we have, and I'm sure you're going to, you must be following these CSS, the class selector. I have already explained you what class selectors are, so I'm hoping you are going to follow the CSS that I'm copying. So now I have copied the styles, and the styles are applied to the div element over here for toolbar. So let's see how the page looks like. So we refresh. So now you can see we have in the layout the toolbar with the buttons already added. And now you must be wondering, from where this images are coming from. So this I have already showed in my previous video. We created the images folder, and we have already saved the images over here. And if we go to the CSS, the CSS is using these images. So basically the background image style is using one of these images, and that's why you can see the toolbar with the images. So let's complete the toolbar layout now. So I think we just defined the first component in the toolbar. Now let's add the other toolbar elements as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy the remaining portion of toolbar. So this is the remaining portion, and then I'm going to add it over here. And now let's see how our layout looks like. So you can see all it again, the remaining buttons of the toolbar have been added to the layout. So now if you see, the header component of the layout is complete. So we got the text on the header, we got on the left side. On the right side we have got the account name, the account and the settings, and then for below the header name we have the toolbar with the buttons, and you can see the same over here. Now the next step is to add the nav component in the left hand side.